guys, in today's video I'm going to talk all about hyaluronic acid as an ingredient in skincare products. If you've been watching any number of my videos at this point, you know I recommend people use hyaluronic acid in their moisturizers and in products. It is a great ingredient. In today's video I'll get into why. I love hyaluronic acid because it is a humectant, and what that means is it allows for water to bind to itself, and for use in skincare products that's fantastic because it helps to hold water in the skin. Hyaluronic acid is something that our body makes. It's present in various organs throughout our body. It's present in our joints. It's present between our muscle fibers, and it's present very abundantly in our skin. And in the skin, it allows for skin hydration. It holds on to water, and it also can help in guiding skin cells to come in the setting of a wound, and so it's really an important ingredient for wound healing. What is hyaluronic acid? It is a sugar or carbohydrate that, as I said, our body makes and is present in a variety of tissues. But the largest concentration of hyaluronic acid in your body is in your skin. So it really is important there and has a key role. Hyaluronic acid is actually the active ingredient in cosmetic fillers like Restylane and Juvederm, for example. So that is what is being injected into your skin if you are somebody who gets filler. Likely it is hyaluronic acid. But what about applying it topically to the skin? Applying hyaluronic acid to your skin is great because, like I said, it's a humectant. It can hold water onto the top layer of your skin and increase skin hydration. It's really good at holding on to water. In fact, 1 gram of hyaluronic acid is estimated to be able to hold up to 6 liters of water. That's quite a bit of water holding capacity. It attracts water very strongly, and in doing so, hydrates your skin, plumps it up, and can make the skin feel moisturized, smoother, and in hydrating the skin and plumping it up, the downstream effect of that is improvement in the appearance of wrinkles and fine lines. The other nice thing about hyaluronic acid as an ingredient in your skincare products is that it's not greasy. A lot of moisturizing products can feel greasy, heavy. Hyaluronic acid is not like that. Hyaluronic acid is not something that is comedogenic whatsoever, and it also is something that your immune system could give two wits about because it is so abundant in your skin that putting it on your skin is not something that is going to cause irritation or sensitivity for you. So it's very easy to tolerate for all skin types. Literally all skin types should be able to tolerate hyaluronic acid in their products. Hyaluronic acid was first isolated in the 30s, but since that time it's gone through clinical trials and even the FDA approval process to be used in cosmetic fillers. But what about topical application of hyaluronic acid? How much science is there to substantiate the use of topical hyaluronic acid in our skincare products? To be frank, there is not a ton of clinical data out there in terms of robust clinical trials looking specifically at hyaluronic acid alone as an ingredient in topical preparations. But topical hyaluronic acid is an approved treatment for the healing of wounds, actually. So there is good data to show that hyaluronic acid helps in healing of wounds. But in terms of cosmetic benefit, like improving wrinkles, fine lines, honestly speaking, we don't have a huge body of data to suggest that. And a lot of the studies that we have actually look at hyaluronic acid that is formulated in moisturizers that have other active ingredients in them. So it's rarely looking at it on its own. And you may be using a product, for example, that is a hyaluronic acid serum, and the only thing in there that's a moisturizing ingredient is going to be hyaluronic acid. We don't have studies looking at that type of product actually for cosmetic benefit. Only moisturizers that have hyaluronic acid as an ingredient. There's one study that was done looking at people on Accutane. Accutane, or isotretinoin, is a medication that I have a video talking about, but one of the main side effects of that medication is extreme dryness and irritation of the skin. And there's a study it was a small study, but it looked at using a moisturizer that contained hyaluronic acid in people on Accutane versus a placebo moisturizer with no hyaluronic acid. And at the end of the study, the people using the moisturizer that had hyaluronic acid in it had improvement in skin dryness, they had less acne, and they also had a decrease or less what's called transepidermal water loss from the skin in comparison to that placebo moisturizer, suggesting that moisturizers with hyaluronic acid as an ingredient are a good choice for people on Accutane or isotretinoin. So that suggests benefit to this ingredient in your skincare products. But outside of that, we don't really have much to point us in the direction of saying HA as an ingredient. When I say HA, I mean hyaluronic acid as an ingredient, is something that you must have. But we really like it for these reasons, that it's a great skin hydrator, and that it's easy to tolerate by all skin types, and your immune system, like I said, could give two wits about it. When you use a product, though, that has hyaluronic acid in it, do know that the results that you see, the improvement in hydration, the water binding capacity, all of that, the improvement in wrinkles and fine lines that you might see through plumping up of the skin, that's only going to be so long as you are using the moisturizer or product with hyaluronic acid. So this is something that has to be built into your skincare routine and maintained. It's not a one or done deal. It's not something that you can do a few nights a week. It's something that has to be done on an ongoing basis, consistent basis, like in your nighttime skincare routine or even PM and AM routine, to really have ongoing and sustained benefit. So, how to use hyaluronic acid and what products to use? Well, here's the thing. There is a very good chance you are already using it. Most moisturizers on the market have hyaluronic acid. If you look at the ingredient list, it'll either be labeled hyaluronic acid, sodium hyaluronate, or potassium hyaluronate. These are just the salts of hyaluronic acid. It does the same thing. It is in many moisturizers. And so it's a great ingredient as a moisturizing cream, but you'll also see it in serums and sprays and a variety of other things. And sometimes the serums and sprays, so I'll get into a few caveats of using hyaluronic acid that you should know about. The first is whether it be hyaluronic acid in a moisturizing cream that's like a total package of a variety of different ingredients. One such example being the CeraVe moisturizing cream in the tub that I love and use on my face all the time. This product has other ingredients in it that make it a total moisturizer. It's not just a hyaluronic acid serum by itself. Whether it be using a product like that or whether it be using a true hyaluronic acid serum, the CosRx triple hyaluronic acid ampule it is what I would consider a hyaluronic acid serum. Not enough on its own, but can enrich the product potentially. It can enrich a moisturizer potentially by adding in some additional hyaluronic acid. So those are just kind of two different types of products. But regardless of which type you're using, the way to use it is after you cleanse your skin, while the skin is still damp, that's when you want to apply it, because hyaluronic acid wants to bind up all that water and hold it there and get the water to hang out in your skin and not evaporate out. So that leads me to the next point. If you are using a moisturizing cream that has hyaluronic acid in it, you're done. Just let it dry and you go on your way. But if you're using a product like a serum that is just largely hyaluronic acid, it's really runny, liquidy, or a spray, that type of thing where there aren't other moisturizing ingredients present, like dimethicone, for example, which is an occlusive ingredient. Then what will actually end up happening is that while the hyaluronic acid will bind up all that water, think of it like a sponge on your countertop, just sops up all of that water. It'll do that. It'll hold it there like a sponge. But if you don't have the other ingredients of a moisturizer, namely the occlusives that make a seal there, that water will just evaporate right out of your skin. It actually can pull more water out of your skin when that happens, and you can get more dryness. So it takes you several steps back in your journey to improving skin hydration. Believe it or not, using something that can bind up to 6 liters of water per 1 gram can actually dry out your skin. Who knew? But if you don't use an occlusive ingredient on top of that hyaluronic acid water sponge, it's just going to evaporate right out and pull more water out of your skin. So that's a really important part of using hyaluronic acid. So, for example, one way you can screw up using hyaluronic acid is they sell these sprays, right? And the sprays are really just water and hyaluronic acid. So you spritz it on your face maybe throughout the day, and that's great. But if all you do is spritz that on your face, then that water in the spray and whatever water is on your face, the hyaluronic acid, it'll kind of hold on there, but very quickly that will start to evaporate off of your skin. You'll actually get worsening dryness. So So if you're using a spray like that, you got to follow it up with a heavier moisturizer on top. And so, you know, that's one way to fail with a hyaluronic acid product, is that you don't seal it in. And you can get more dryness and irritation. The other way to fail with a hyaluronic acid product is if you use it alongside irritating ingredients. You may think it's the hyaluronic acid causing the irritation, but it could be some of the other ingredients in the product. In fact, it's probably more likely that it's another ingredient in your product rather than hyaluronic acid, because it is so inert that causes irritation for you. So for example, say you're using a spray or serum with hyaluronic acid. This is a common scenario. You maybe put it on your face, you don't seal it in with an occlusive, you allow it to evaporate, which pulls more water out, increases dryness. As it pulls more water out and increases dryness, if that particular product has an irritating ingredient like fragrance or an essential oil, that irritating ingredient, as the water is evaporating out, that irritating ingredient is going to get sucked back into your skin. It kind of pulls things in opposite directions almost. You have increased penetration of that irritating ingredient, so you get more irritation and have problems. That is one way you can have issue with hyaluronic acid in your products, and you may be thinking, I can't handle this. Chances are you're either using it incorrectly, meaning you don't have an occlusive with it, or you're irritated by something else that you're using alongside it or another ingredient. It is very, very unlikely to be hyaluronic acid. It is so inert. If you live in a drier climate and you don't use an occlusive over hyaluronic acid, the rate at which that water subsequently evaporates is even faster than if you live somewhere like Houston, where I live, where it's very humid. You know, I might actually be able to get away with using hyaluronic acid without a occlusive moisturizer and have no issue, because Houston kind of buffers against that, and then I don't have that huge gradient. But when I lived in Colorado, no way would I have ever used hyaluronic acid just dabbing it on my face. That would have dried out my skin like none other. So that's a little bit about the ingredient, how to use it, and you know what it's useful for. It's fantastic. I really love it, and you know, it's great. And FDA approved in filler injections, very well tolerated, very, very safe. So not something to worry about whatsoever. So comment below, and if in the future you would like a video on my favorite hyaluronic acid products, I definitely would be happy to do that. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.